And so we are back with another week of the glorious Katekyo Hitman REBORN, and we are at chapter 117. And might I add, that fight from the last chapter, that was completely one-sided. Ever since Chrome had to be taken out, aka Mukuro took over, right? Once Mukuro took over Chrome's body, it was practically GG for Mamon. Mamon could not handle Mukuro at all. That fight was not a fight. That was not a fight. And for Mamon, who is known to be one of the strongest illusionists, as they imply, and also very strong because they're Arcabaleno. So if we can give any indication due to Reborn and Colonello, we don't know too much about Lao Merch, so we can't say much about that. But you'd expected Mamon, and it's not to say Mamon isn't strong. Mamon is very strong, as seen through their fight with Chrome in the beginning. But like I said, Mukuro just showed them who's boss. Mukuro walked them like a dog. And that's no joke. So by the end of what you would call it, chapter 116, basically when Mukuro turned the entire gymnasium to some dispatched space, like reality was ripping itself apart, okay, and obviously caused Mamon's snake to start wrapping itself around them, choking them out. You know, it was like too much, and they tried to do that to Mukuro, but Mukuro managed to escape from Mamon's illusion trap, where they try to swallow him up whole and then starts to strangle him from the outside using their snake, and Mukuro was able to break free. And from there, that's when the whole, you know, space around them was starting to break apart and everything. Everybody's getting caught up in the illusion. And so with this chapter, and it was obviously a very obvious telling of how this fight was going to go, because the chapter's literally called 3 wins 3 losses. Like, way to go telling us that somebody actually won. Okay, somebody won, and obviously that's Mukuro, right? So Mukuro basically got the rings. Once they made, you know, Mamon lose and everything, you see Mukuro holding up 2 of the half rings together between his fingers, and everybody's just like, did this dude just, how was he, yo, this was child's play to him. They're like, bro, Mukuro completely overpowered Mamon. This was not a fight. He was Mamon was dog walk, man. That wasn't fair. It wasn't fair at all. When we thought Mamon was really controlling the fight, especially against Chrome, you know, Chrome showed what she was able to do, but then when everything really just started getting in her head, that's when Mamon was able to catch her off guard and do what they did, until Mukuro had to come in, okay? And so we know everything that had transpired from then up until this point. So technically Mukuro, since he got the 2 rings, that meant he defeated Mamon, declaring him the winner of the missed battle. So then they have it where Mamon eventually comes back. Everything is starting to kind of piece itself together in terms of the room and all that stuff. Mamon comes back and it's like, hold on, wait 1 minute. I was just actually bluffing with you. I didn't show you what I'm truly capable of. This is not the full extent of my power. I can go beyond that. And so we have it where like Mukuro is just unfazed, because Mukuro knows that, like, if this was truly not all of your power, you would have showed it, okay? He's calling out Mamon's bluff because he knows that Mamon really isn't as powerful. And mind you, this is just a projection. Don't forget, the real Mukuro at the end of the day, is still at the Vendi's prison. This is just a projection. He's using an illusion all the way from Italy to come to Japan to take over this fight. So what Mamon was fighting was not the real Mukuro. And if the real Mukuro was whooping Mamon's behind like this, the fake Mukuro was doing this. Imagine if Mamon was facing the real flesh and blood Mukuro. This fight would have ended way worse than it did. And it kind of like this fight with the fake Mukuro, aka the illusion projection that we have currently right now, kind of did that. So what Mukuro did was, which was kind of kind of messed up, he got the snake, which we come to find out is called Phantasma, and started to choke Mamon, and kept choking Mamon again. And so Mukuro's telling Mamon, I'm gonna show you how completely powerless you are. This is my world. I'm gonna drag you to my world. And so what he did to Mamon was Boo Saga levels of intensity. It was a sickening part. If you guys remember Boo Saga, basically almost kind of the beginning, where after the whole ordeal with Fat Boo, right, and Hercules befriending Fat Boo with the internal war happening in him, split in half, right? And then it was the evil Boo versus the good Boo, right? Then evil Boo ate good Boo, turning into Super Boo. And then Super Boo, we had two people after Boo did whatever they did, you know, massacring a whole bunch of humans and all that stuff. There were two men that came, or was it one man, and shot shot Super Boo. Super Boo looked, I'm drawing up some memories from childhood, or you probably recently just watched Dragon Ball Z again. Looked at the guy who shot at him and had the most evilest grin on his face, and decided to liquefy himself and went straight for the man. So remember that scene? Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. That's exactly what happened in this chapter. Mukuro basically turned himself into Super Boo, aka turning himself almost like a shadowy type of liquidy version, and then he started to go through Mamon's mouth, right? And then Mamon keeps getting bigger and bigger. Remember Super Boo did it to the man, got him bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as they're getting bigger, what happens when something gets too big and it has no space to escape? Like a balloon. Too much air. It pops. It pops. It pops. You know. And poor Mamon is like, please stop. I'm going to die. And Mukuro's just mocking him, mocking Mama, mocking them, and saying, no, the only reason you lost is because you had me. That's the toughest line you can give anybody. The reason why you lost is because you had me as your opponent. And then he basically burst Mamon alive. Mamon popped. The man that shot Super Boo popped. Goes to pieces. That's some disgusting, and you would have thought, okay, Katekyo can't get that bad. Katekyo can't be that dark. Yeah, it can get that dark. Everybody is shocked because nobody expected it. Like, bro, you guys have to remember, despite Mukuro coming into this fight to get the rings for Suna, Mukuro at the end of the day is not the nicest person, and even he mentions it. He said, I'm not the most kindest, nicest person there is, and I'm doing this for my own agenda. Okay, at the end of the day, remember, he still has some beef. I wouldn't even call it necessarily beef, but he does have business still with Suna. Okay, but it does make you wonder his reasons for wanting to help Suna in this battle, because he could have just left him alone and let Chrome deal with the whole situation, but no, he had to intervene. Okay, he could actually even left Chrome to suffer without any internal organs, but he still decided to come and intervene. So as they declared by the Cervello, they said with the match ending and all that, the Miss ring now belongs to Chrome, because again, Mukuro's not really there, so she won. And so forth. This means that on Suna's side, they finally got a win for the first time since Ryohei. So now it's 3-3, because after Ryohei, they lost both Lambo and Gokudera, but then they won with Yamamoto. So that was 2-3, and now with Chrome / Mukuro, it's now 3-3. So both sides are like tied at this point in the game. So now, after happening with my mom popping and everything, Suna's just like, everybody's still again shocked that this whole ordeal happened. And we have even where Suna's just like, you know, you didn't have to really go that far. What was the reasons for? And this is where Mukuro, and this reminds me back to the first arc, where Mukuro at that time mocked Suna for Suna's naivete, because Suna was caring, you know, in that moment. And Mukuro here is doing it again, but not in so much a mocking way, but more in a like condescending, like, I won't even say condescending. He was saying it in a more like, are you actually being for real right now? Like, you're actually caring whether what's something an enemy, if they're okay or not. And it's that naiveness of yours that will be your undoing. Okay, so, but after he says that, he kind of reassures Suna, saying that like, Mama was able to escape. Okay, so this whole time that this fight was happening, Mama made sure that they had an escape route in plan if it went left. And so by the time Mukuro did basically the Super Boo attack and popped Mamon like a balloon, Mamon was able to use an illusionary ability or technique to escape unscathed, or probably, you know, they're injured. But this is where now Zanzis, as we know in the Varia, if any of them loses or fail to accomplish their mission at 100%, guess what? They get eliminated. So we have where Zanzis now sets out the rule to Gola Mosca to go and search for Mamon and to eliminate him, because you now just embarrassed me. You did not accomplish what I need you to accomplish. You ran away. So you're weak, and we don't need that in the Varia. So you're going to get eliminated, right? So that happens. That really does happen. But what's interesting now is we have where Mukuro was like, you know, he's speaking to Zanzis, and then he's saying that like, Zanzis really does uphold the dark side of the mafia, because, you know, going after one of your men if they betray your own, something that you probably hear in the mafia. But then he makes some type of comment like, even I will be terrified of the scheme you thought up on. Now this, if you're new, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but if you remember a few chapters ago, back especially during the Lambo fight, after the Lambo fight, more so the Ryohei fight, at the end of it, where they saw Zanzis, and Zanzis is mocking both Reborn and Mitsu, talking about something happening to the night. This right here, this panel, not even say little, but this panel showing of like Mukuro looking at Zanzis and Zanzis looking at Mukuro, and Mukuro's telling Zanzis like, the scheme that you're plotting even scares me a little, right? It wouldn't even scare me a little, but it's terrifying when you actually think about it. It's a little scary, right? So Zanzis is doing something behind the scenes that nobody knows for sure, because again, why would he back all the way back there in the Lusario versus Ryohei fight? Why would he mention something? Oh, there may or may not be something that happened to the night. I don't know. Which caused Imitsu to run all the way back to Italy to go check up on him, right? So Zanzis did something from the implication that Mukuro just said And it's not a good thing. And we don't know exactly what he did. And whatever scheme he's trying to play at, it's not good. It's not good at all. So even though he said that, we have where Mukuro's like, you know, he's about to exit out. He's about to exit out, but he had to leave his 2 cents. He even tells Zanzis that despite the opponent that you may go up against may be weaker than you and less experienced than you, you shouldn't underestimate him. And he's talking about Suna. So obviously you can tell that yes, the Varya so far has shown themselves to be truly competent, specialists in their field, and obviously they are older, so obviously they have experience over kids who just started recently training for only a few days, like really training for a few days. So there is that huge gap in terms of experience, fighting experience, okay, even for Mukuro, because remember, Mukuro underestimated Suna back in the first arc and then was beaten by Suna eventually. So Mukuro is giving Zanzis a word of advice that, like, you can go sit in your high mighty chair, but don't look down on this guy just because, you know, he looks weak or he seems feeble and all that stuff. You better, as they say, expect the unexpected. Okay, so this is where now this is now where he's about to exit and everything, and he's telling Suna that, you know, it's good to be vigilant, and you know, obviously he doesn't want to have no ties with the mafia, but he tells his reasons. He says to Suna, like, the only reason why I joined in this battle is because I want to be closer to Suna. Okay, he wants to be closer to him in the sense of, like, you think I stopped my plan to take over your body? No. This just allows me to be a little bit closer to you, to be your guardian, to be in your circle. But even though he says that, Suna is feeling the intentions from Mukuro. And the intentions he's feeling from Mukuro is not him being malicious, it's not him trying to be a snake. Right then and there, he can tell that Mukuro is lying. That Mukuro has no intentions to follow through with his plan that he originally had a few months ago in story. Okay, so now it makes you wonder, okay, so if what he's telling to Suna right at this particular moment is a lie, what are his actual intentions of becoming a guardian? For what reasons? Okay, there are probably several that you guys have, and if you already read or watched the series, you probably already know, no spoilers. But his intentions are not the same anymore. They're actually different. So after that happens, Suna does tell Mukuro, you know, thank you for helping. And this is where now Mukuro vanishes out of thin air, because he's a little tired. He extended all of his energy to be there, illusion projection, as well as to help Chrome rebuild back her illusion organs and everything. So now he's going to rest for the time being back at the Vendis in the deep parts of the prison. So they say that due to him extending so much power, he won't be around for quite a while. Okay, because still, like I said, all the way from Italy to Japan, and your physical body is not there. So Chrome is back. She's fine, she's just sleeping, and this is where Ken and Shikusa are leaving. They don't try to even pick up Chrome, and you can tell obviously their relationship. So obviously for Mukuro, he's using her for his own advantage, but at the same time, low-key, there is some type of trust between them. But for Ken and Shikusa, given their history with Mukuro, they only respect Mukuro, whereas they don't respect Chrome, and it's understandable because for them, she just possibly came out of nowhere, and she's being entrusted as being the host for Mukuro when the time is needed. Okay, so for them, Chrome is just an extension for Mukuro, so they don't show her no respect. So they leave her on the gymnasium floor sleeping. Okay, while that is happening, we have it where even Reborn is telling Suna, because Suna is like reminiscing on like the whole ordeal that's happening for him, and also the talk that he just had with Mukuro before he left, we have a reborn. It's just like, never forget what Mukuro did to you. aka also, don't forget anything of these people when they try to hurt you. Don't try to sympathize with these people, because the things that they did to you should not warrant any sympathy, shouldn't warrant any kindness or worry for them. But knowing Suna and knowing Reborn, this is what makes Suna who he is, because he's going to worry at the end of the day, especially when he does reflect on everything that has transpired after their fights, after the altercations and everything. That's just the type of person Suna is. It's not like he's going to go out of his way to try to change a person, but at the same time, he hears them out, he sees their reasons, he still says it's messed up, but it's not like to say he's going to tell a person, well, you shouldn't do that. Like, that's not Suna. So now we have it where the Cervello are saying, okay, with 3 wins and 3 losses on both sides, the next fight, which will be the final fight, is going to decide who wins overall the Vongola half ring scramble battle. Okay, and the next fight is the final fight, which is what? The Cloud Ring Bearer. And by the end of the chapter, they do tell us who is the Cloud guardian for Suna, and it's obvious to everyone. It's Hibari, right? It's Hibari. So the person who has the Cloud Ring, who's the Cloud Guardian representative on the Varya side, is Gola Mosca, the big dude, the guy with the mask. Okay, he's the next opponent to face off against Hibari. And so whoever wins will decide, this fight will decide which side wins. This is it. This is the final tipping point of the battle overall. And this will determine whether one side lives or one side perishes. They lose everything, okay? But we also have it where before that even like finishes off with the chapter, we have it where Reborn is calling out Zanzis, and he's telling that, you know, with this fight about to take place tomorrow night, that even say like we do win, not even when we do win, because Hibari is our guardian, right? With us winning, even though you have the sky ring for the boss, you will have to forfeit that, because it runs by how much wins you have. So even if Zanzis did manage to get the sky ring due to the lightning fight Lambo versus Leviton, Zanzis would have to forfeit up the sky ring. When they win tomorrow night, when Suna's side wins tomorrow night, Zanzis has no choice but to uphold by his promise that he made, okay, that he has to give up the ring. Because remember, he's the one that made rules. Like, he entertained them, and he's like, you know what, to keep this going, I'll let it where whoever wins the most fights wins overall. So he has to uphold his promise that he made during that fight, during the Lambo versus Leviton's fight. So if he tries to backtrack on it, it's going to be a problem, obviously. But knowing villains, they always have something up their sleeve. So he's joking. He's like, if Mosca really loses the cloud battle, I'll let you people have everything. And he has this little smirk, because he's truly believing that Gola Mosca is going to win the fight. He like the utmost confidence that there's no possible way that Gola Mosca is going to lose to some 14, 15-year-old in this fight. Given the fact that Gola Mosca is some big giant, probably 6 foot something, and Hibari is way small. I know Hibari is vicious, but like, he has all the confidence in the world that there's no possible way that he's going to lose. So with that happening, the chapter does end where Dino and Hibari is shown on the scene, and Dino is looking to Hibari saying that, hey, you have a fight tomorrow, and he's asking, hey, how you feeling? You feeling good? And Hibari's like, come and fight me and you'll find out how I'm feeling. And that's how it ends. So they won the Miss battle. Mukuro, despite being at the Vendis, came to Suna's aid, And so even for Suna, he's wondering if like Mukuro did change a little bit, okay? If he had a change of heart. He's no longer planning to take over Suna's body. That's an obvious fact. But what are his goals now that he is a guardian for Suna? Because yes, you could say Chrome, but also Mukuro as well. Okay, so now what is his new objectives in regards of becoming Suna's guardian? Okay, and on top of that, what is this scheme that Zanzu is trying to play out that Mukuro has an idea, or he actually knows what's going on, but he's not saying anything? Because at the end of the day, he don't mess with the mafia. He doesn't like the mafia for obvious reasons. And also with the fight that's upcoming with Gola Mosca, or Mosca Gola versus Hibari, how will this fight turn out? And also with Mamon. Mamon escaped. So are they going to find Mamon and take them out? Or is Mamon going to just keep be in hiding for the rest of their lives? Because they don't want to be hunted down by the Varia, because they left in a very cowardly way after the fight, because they knew what was going to happen when they lost. You know, they don't want to end up like a Lusaria, right? They don't want to end up like a Squalo. So, that being said, that is the end of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, chapter 117. Guys, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about this chapter. If you've already read or you watched the anime version, how do you feel, especially about, you know, Mamon, that happening to Mamon. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chun of Enemy Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye.